Welcome to Divinely Driven Results, where you learn and implement divine strategies for real results in your business. I'm your host, Elise Smith, Christian business strategist, and we get to empower Christian women entrepreneurs just like you to be able to empower their mindset, utilizing biblical business strategy and partnering with God, so that you not only reach those sales goals, but you also gain a closer relationship with God in the process. Now, ladies, think about your social media for just a second here. Are you spending time and time into all of your social media posts and feeling like you have no idea how to get them into actual clientele? Maybe you have a whole bunch of connections that seem like friends, but you want to turn them into potential clients so that you can serve them even more. Well, in the world of social media and in so many different ways when it comes to marketing, it is hard sometimes to understand how to turn your followers into clients. And that is why I am super excited to be able to have Sara Wisniewski on our call today. She is an incredible business growth coach, and she's going to give you the 3 ways to turn your followers into clients, which is what we all need. So Sara, thanks so much for being here. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Thank you. Well, an amazing introduction already. Thank you very much. So yeah, as you said, I am a business growth coach. I have built my business over the last few years since leaving corporate employment in 2018. And I was called to do that to have much more time with my family. I've been blessed with 2 boys who are now 9 and 11. It goes so quickly. And I was very conscious that as an employee, I just wasn't spending the time with them. So I took a decision, albeit a brave decision, to leave that employee hat and to bring the skills and the expertise I'd learned there and bring that into my own business. So I now help entrepreneurs and specifically coaches, those helping others through their personality normally, to be able to use the beautiful gift we have in social media to be able to connect with those people who are out there, but if they don't know you're there and available, they may not know right now that they need you. So I connect with lots of people who are amazingly talented with what they do. They're so gifted at being able to bring results into people's lives, but they're just missing that link in the chain of being able to make those connections with them. And that's what I do through lots of routes. So yeah, that's me.
I love that. And tell us where you're from, because I am in love with your accent. I just love it.
So I'm in Warwickshire in the UK. It's very central, a very small little county. I've been here for a number of years, but it's beautiful. It's very rural. At the moment, it's very muddy. I have 2 dogs that we get to explore the local area, and yeah, love it here.
Oh, that's so awesome. So 2 boys and 2 dogs. That sounds like a handful.
It's a lot of mud is what it is at this time of the year with the rain and the soggy surroundings. But yeah, they keep me busy in a very good way.
Awesome. Now, before we get into your topic of 3 ways to turn followers into clients, I want to ask you, how do you include God in your business, and why is that important to you?
For me, it very much extends to that sense of purpose, that sense of being grounded in you and your purpose, and allowing that to become your force for promoting yourself. There are so many, as I said, amazing people that I connect with who just haven't got the rocket fuel within them to be able to take their message out there, because I get it. It's scary. It's intimidating. It's challenging to put our hands up and say, I'm available to help. This is my story. This is my journey. This is my purpose. This is what I'm sent here to do, to serve, because it opens us up and makes us vulnerable. But actually, if we have that deeper purpose within us, that drive that is more than simply us and the person that we sit here as today, it allows us to truly let that message, whatever that message is, that skill, that expertise, come through us. It isn't about us. And if we take our individual personality out of the equation, we are here to serve. We are here to better the lives of others in as big a way as we can. And I could even go to the extreme of saying, if you're not sharing your message, if you're not looking to connect with others and impact those lives, you're selling yourself short and you're not doing that higher purpose work. So allowing us to become that messenger, that channel, that route really allows our purpose to be incorporated in our business.
Yeah, it's a calling, right? Like God has called each one of us into the businesses that we are working in right now, and there's a reason for that. And so I love your testimony. Thank you so much for sharing that. I could not agree more. Now, when we think about this topic of turning followers into clients, why did you choose this topic? What made you feel like this is something that the world needs right now, especially the entrepreneurial world?
I have a lot of conversations with very talented people, and they'll say, I'm doing this and I'm posting here and I'm increasing my followers and I've got this many likes on the last post I did. And they are working so hard to increase what appears to be a following, an audience, but it then doesn't translate to them being able to serve them at the highest level and then become a client. And their energy is being expended before they're having that opportunity to be able to serve. And I just feel it's such a shame. Like it's a wasted opportunity for them to be able to serve and get the results for that person. Too often we get wrapped up in the, well, how many people saw my thing, or how many comments do I get? And that's great for understanding whether your messaging is hitting, but it's not always going to convert into being able to serve. And it won't be monetized, because I'm not going to shy away from talking about the money side. We never should. Yes, we're here to fulfill a purpose and to be guided to help others, but the best way we can do that is by ensuring that flow of money in energy sense continues to happen. So if you're earning well, you're able to then pass that on through your business and help others and continue that route. So I truly believe that where that energy flows, money should flow, and we have that reciprocal sense of, I do something for you and you pay me for it, and then I will pay that on and pay it forward. So by being able to allow people that opportunity to turn that genuine follower community into somebody who could be a paying client, allows that energy to continue to flow rather than creating a blockage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's so many benefits for them of paying for your services. It's that exchange of energy like you talked about. But the vanity metrics, so to speak, on social media, we don't always know how to turn those into those clients. And so you can spend a lot of time and energy, like you said, and even money on growing that audience or, growing your following. But what are you doing with it? Sometimes we think that it's like the olden days where you just put up a sign and you say, hey, I'm in business, come buy from me. And then people are throwing credit cards at you. And it doesn't work that way. You've got to take them to another level. And that's why I'm so excited to get into these 3 ways. So first off, what is our first way to turn your followers into clients?
Okay, well, let me put them into context and describe them. I can't do it without waving my hands around, so it'll help with the visual. So the first pillar is that we need to grow our audience. And the way that I envisage this journey is that it's exactly that. It is a journey. I like to think of it being one of those lazy rivers at a water park where you get on that big donut and you get in, and then you're taken along this journey. We, as the provider of a service, need to consider our potential clients as being someone getting into that lazy river, and we are going to provide the current and the directional flow that they're going to go in. If we just leave them in that river to float around on their own, they're not going to progress. Very quickly, there'll become a blockage, people will be frustrated, and they'll get out of the lazy river and go to the next ride. So we have to create that flow and that genuine journey for people to go through. So the first area, and the one that is, they're all very important, but if you had 15 minutes in a day and you had to prioritize which one should I do, this is always the one that I would say, do this. This is one of those daily activities, small times, but consistently. So this is about growing your audience. This is about being seen by somebody new. I have a great story to illustrate this. I served a client who came to me and said, everything's gone wrong. I think I'm going to have to close my business down. Nothing's working. I haven't sold anything. I said, okay, let's rewind. You've had results before. Tell me what you did. She said, well, that's the strange thing. I had an amazing launch and lots of people bought from me. I sold out my offer. I had great results for my people. So I took what I did then and I did exactly the same thing only 6 months later, and not a single person bought. I said, okay, and what did you do on a daily basis to grow a new audience? Crickets, nothing. So she was selling to the same people who, if they hadn't bought the first time, they weren't necessarily going to buy the second time. So hence, we need somebody to hear our offer. We need somebody to see our value on a consistent basis. Some will stay and some will go. Some will flow through and end up working with us, brilliant. But unless we're replacing them at that top end, we're not going to have that consistent audience growth. So by growing, what I mean by this is new people. So this is like you and I doing. I'm being seen now by a new audience. These people don't know me, but they will by the time we've finished. What can we do to have our message seen? And there are so many ways. If anyone visits my website, they can download a sheet that gives them 50 ideas, and not one of them costs money. I'm not talking about paying for ads. This is your time. This is some intention. This is about being in a new environment, going and popping your head up and saying, I'd love to share my expertise with you. That's your opportunity to grow that audience. And it may be a significant audience you grow by. It may be 1 or 2 followers every day, but building that into your routine. So there is something, it might just be a post, it might be a share, it might be commenting on somebody else's, so that they're starting to come into your world.
Love that. And I completely agree with you. I did the exact same thing many, many years ago where I tried to sell to the same audience. And someone taught me that it's like trying to till the same ground before it's even been able to be fertilized. Like it's just, it doesn't get you anywhere. And so when we teach, a launch or a workshop or something like that, we want our clients to have at least 100 new people in their audience to be able to have fresh blood to sell to. And then that way, even the people who have been following you for a while, they get excited because of the new people that are in your audience. And so I just love it. And definitely we will give a link to have them go check out your 50 ways. I want to check that out as well. It sounds amazing. So grow your audience is number 1, or your pillar number 1. What is pillar number 2?
Pillar number 2 is nurture. So imagine your person is now in the river, they're new, they're in your world, they're enjoying being there and it feels good, but then what? They don't just want to stay at that first corner, they want to progress around on that lazy river. So how are we nurturing them? Now, nurturing them to each of us can mean something different. So it might mean showing up regularly and sharing something inspiring. It might mean bringing them into a Facebook group and providing them with extra hints and tips and inspirational stories, sharing guest speakers, sharing something which allows them to understand you a little bit more, see you as an expert, understand that you're an authority in your subject, but that they feel seen and heard as well. By nurturing them, this isn't about providing information. And that's, again, I suppose I don't want to call it a fault, but lots of people can fall into that trap of the more information I provide, the more I'll be seen as, and then when I offer, they'll definitely say yes. People can find information just by simply Googling a question. They don't always want that. They want that inspiration. They want that story of, wow, you did that. You left the security of your corporate career and set up a business that allows you to walk your dogs in the day. Like, wow. They want that moment of connection where they can see themselves in your story. And if they can see them in you, then they believe they'll also be able to achieve those. So nurturing needs to come through your personality. It needs to suit what you're selling. So if I was selling to e-commerce people, my nurture process will be different than the healers, therapists, coaches. They want to be nurtured in a different way. So by understanding your person at a deep level, where are they now? Where are they feeling the disease in their life somewhere? And how and where can that nurture process be 2 ways? genuinely nurturing relationships. This isn't about how many have I got, who are they? You know, these big Facebook groups become very faceless, very impersonal. Whereas the nurture process, from my perspective anyway, is when someone joins my Facebook group, I leave them a voice note and say hi. You know, it doesn't take time, it takes intention, but having that as a conscious activity, again, small amounts of time on a daily basis. How have I nurtured my audience today? Have I shared some good quality content? Have I shared something about me? The biggest reaction post that I'll get on my personal page is often pictures of my dog. It's not about the piece that I poured hours over that gives like so much content and actionable steps and all of those things. It's not those. So having your own process, and I'm not going to sit here and say I've got templates that do that, because that's my way, not your way. So you will nurture your audience in a different way than I will, but be intentional, have a plan around how your person wants to be nurtured.
Yes. And it's so great. I love that you have separated the visibility part of it, of like growing your audience, getting in front of a new audience to be able to get that visibility to grow the audience. And then you have the nurture. So many times we kind of just go for the nurture part and just expect that the grow the audience will come with it. Yeah. And they are two separate pillars, like you talk about. And, you know, I think that one of the most powerful things that we have when it comes to nurturing our audience, especially as Christians or anyone who believes in, you know, God or a higher power, is just to ask God, what is it that my audience needs right now? And because he already knows, he knows your audience. And when we follow that prompting, like maybe you're having a Netflix and chill night and you have a thought come to your head and you want to share it. Act on that prompting that God has given you, and you will be able to make such a bigger impact and nurture them the way that they need in that moment. I've had so many people say, like, I can't tell you, I needed that exact message at that exact moment. And it's all God. It's all his glory and his will. And that's what we get to do, is kind of act on that. So I love nurturing that audience on that consistent basis and following that based on your divine client of who God is calling you to serve. So beautiful. Okay, number three.
So the final pillar is serve. So this is where they're at that stage of they feel nurtured, they feel that they're in a trusted relationship with you. It is two-way. They have genuinely learned enough about you to feel that connection to you as a person. They might know the name of your dog and your kids, as well as your professional persona and how you can help them. So they're now at that, okay, so what now? What's next? And again, a big trap that coaches fall into, particularly because they are very giving, they want to serve from the heart. They have a fear that if they sell, people are going to be frightened and run away in the opposite direction. Because the truth is, the deepest and most effective way to serve for both parties is to have that reciprocal energy and be able to work with somebody as a client and share that space, share that reciprocal energy. So by not showing up and selling, you are doing that person a disservice. You owe it to them. You owe it to your purpose. And this is very much the point where I often have to remind clients of that bigger goal, that bigger drive, that this isn't about you and the risk that they might say no. They might say no. But if they're sat waiting to be offered, because we're all very polite and we also like to be told what to do. So if we're sat in that, oh, I wonder how I could buy from Elise, and I wonder whether she could help me, they're waiting to be invited. So by ensuring that we regularly show up to serve in a way that we can sell and make offers, gives that person the opportunity to say, oh, okay, maybe it's not this month, maybe it's not right now, but I know you're available now, as opposed to waiting. Because how often do we go and ask to be sold to? We don't do that. We wait. We're very polite and we all follow that route. So stepping into that place of knowing that ultimately the best way of us serving is for that person to become a client, and allowing ourselves to, again, on a daily basis, make an offer. And the reason that I'm very clear on this, it's one of my how many times have I made an offer? Minimum is one. And that offer doesn't have to be a big sales pitch. It doesn't have to be a huge launch. It can simply be, would you like to have a call? Would you like to have a conversation? I think I've got something that would help you. If I can just understand a bit more about where you are, I've got something that's totally free that I could send you. Making an offer on a daily basis allows that emotional desensitizing to occur, rather than what I used to do, which was open a door to a launch once every month and have a huge build up to this pressure, and then think, oh, it'll all go wrong. And now I'll make an offer every hour probably, because it's easy. And if we're not offering, we're not getting that opportunity to serve. So having that shift in the approach of, how can I help someone today? How can I ultimately serve that person? Does that mean making an offer? Does that mean taking that relationship to the next level and saying, well, shall we this? But being very conscious that you have it as an activity. You don't just wait to the big events or a workshop or whatever. Make that offer, send the DM, send the email with the action, the request, the invitation for a conversation in the end.
Oh, I know, because there's so many people who are afraid to make that offer because they're worried about coming off as sleazy or spammy or salesy or, any of those S words that we don't want to be associated with. But it really does help the other person to make that offer. We want to buy, we don't want to be sold to, right?
Yeah.
And so if we're looking for that, and you never know who's looking for that, that's why we want to stay top of mind. And if you follow that 80-20 rule, I don't know how you feel about that, but in social media, like, we should be posting about what we're doing once a week. If you're posting every single day, choose a day of the week where you are going to post your offer. And it could be a call like she talked about. It could be your program. It could be, what your freebie, whatever it is. But I completely agree is that as coaches and as service-based entrepreneurs, we give and give and give and give. And then we never ask for the offer. So we definitely agree. And, as you were talking, I love how you pointed out that we're doing them a disservice if we're not offering it to them. And there's a scripture, it's Proverbs 11:26, and it says, he that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. Isn't that fascinating? That actually in the scriptures, it talks about how if you have something of value that is going to help someone else, then it's selfish of us, and it doesn't do us or them any good if we hold it within ourselves. But go out and sell it for that equal exchange of energy like we talked about, and so that you can take their ability to reach their goals to a higher level, because that's what it's all about. So, this topic gets me on fire. I love it. So thank you so much, Sara. So just to recap here, so the 3 ways to turn your followers into clients is grow your audience, nurture them on a consistent basis, and serve them by presenting your offer on a regular basis. I think those are golden. So Sara, if people are interested in working with you or they want to know more of what you're up to, where can they find you?
So the place I tend to post most regularly, most of my nurturing happens, is on my Facebook page. So literally searching by my name, Sara Wisniewski, you will be able to find me in there. I do have a Facebook group, but you'll find everything from that page. And if they are interested in the freebie, then it is my name, is my website, sarawisniewski.co.uk. And they'll be able to register for that freebie and just get the ideas rolling around about, actually, I'm constantly posting on social media, or I'm constantly this, and I want to just add something else that might give me a channel into somebody else.
Absolutely. God is calling you to grow your audience, to nurture them, and to serve them by making your offers, ladies. So get out there and be brave about it. Be bold, as it says with Paul, so that you can fulfill that purpose God is calling you to fulfill. So, and if you want more tips on how to grow your business in the Lord's way, make sure you check out our Faithful Ladypreneurs Facebook group, where we nurture our audience as well. So thank you so much for being on the show, Sara. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. I'm looking forward to connecting with people in your group.
Absolutely. All right. We will see you next time on Divinely Driven Results.